Hello everyone, how are you all? Today let us start with the new chapter, that is chapter 3, atoms and molecules. Already you learned about matter and particles of matter, okay? Now if we keep on dividing the matter, keep on breaking the matter, what will happen? A stage will reach when we will get the smallest particle that cannot be divided anymore. One scientist called Democritus, who was an ancient Greek philosopher, called these individual particles as atoms. That means the smallest particles as atoms. Now why do these atoms of elements combine, or how they combine to form compounds, and what happens when these elements combine? These are certain atoms of elements like hydrogen and oxygen. If they combine, gives us water, that we know, right? Carbon and oxygen gives us carbon dioxide. Now scientists started thinking why they combine, how they combine, or what happens when these atoms of elements combines. Now one scientist called A.L. Lavoisier laid the foundation of chemical sciences by establishing two important laws of chemical combination. That means how these elements or atoms combines, okay? Two important law of chemical combinations are law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. Law of conservation of mass states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. That is, mass remains constant before or after a chemical reaction. We know that in a chemical reaction, the substance that reacts are called reactants, and the substance that we obtain after reaction between the reactants are called products. That means, if in the left hand side you are taking suppose 5 grams of copper sulfate and 15 grams of sodium carbonate, in the right hand side you should get exactly 20 grams of products only. Am I clear? It may be different. It is not like that it has to be 5 gram or 15 gram. It can be of any, but total should be 20, because in the left hand side also it is 20. So very easy way to remember is that if in the left hand side you have one copper atom, in the right hand side there should be one copper atom only. Similarly, if there is one sulfur in the left hand side, there should be one sulfur in the right hand side. Similarly for other atoms of elements also, so that you can check it, okay? That is called law of conservation of mass. That means suppose in the left hand side you are taking one copper, and in the right hand side there are two coppers. Then what will happen? Copper is having certain mass, so mass will not be same, so it will not fulfill the law of conservation of mass. So number of atoms of each element should be same in the left hand side and in the right hand side, okay? These three are the examples. Next is law of constant proportion. This statement was given by one scientist called Proust. According to him, in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. Suppose you are taking water. In water, hydrogen and oxygen is present. So, this is a chemical substance and the elements are hydrogen and oxygen. So, they will be present in definite proportion by mass. That means mass will be fixed. For example, the mass of hydrogen is 1 gram, right? And mass of oxygen is 16 grams. So what will happen? It will remain fixed. But here there are two hydrogens, so mass will be 2 grams, and for oxygen it is one oxygen only, so 16 gram. And if you find the lowest ratio, it will be 1:8. So in case of water, the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is always 1:8, whatever the source of water it is. That is, from wherever you take the water, the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen will be 1:8. So if we take 9 grams of water, so amount of hydrogen will be 1 gram and amount of oxygen will be 8 grams, because ratio is 1:8 for hydrogen and oxygen, okay? Here you can write like this, H:O, okay? Now suppose you are taking 18 grams of water, so for 18 grams, okay, it is 1:8. So what will happen? It will become 2:16, is it? Try to find it out. Similarly for ammonia, mass of ammonia is 14, so 14, and mass of hydrogen is 1. There are 3 hydrogens, so 14:3. So these ratios will remain fixed. Am I clear? It will never change. Now Dalton's atomic theory. John Dalton provided the basic theory about the nature of matter, okay? His theory was the basic one. His theory was based on these two law of chemical combinations, that is law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. And these are the postulates of Dalton's theory. First postulate is all matter is made up of very tiny particles called atoms. Okay, atoms are indivisible particles which cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. So this is law of conservation of mass, right? And third one, atoms of a given element are identical in mass and chemical properties. For example, hydrogen, in water you are having hydrogen, okay, and oxygen. In carbon dioxide you are having carbon and oxygen. So these oxygens will be having same mass because it is oxygen. Am I clear? Okay. Next is the atoms of different elements will be having different mass and different properties. For example, same example I am giving you. If you consider hydrogen and carbon, both are different elements, so their masses will be different, their properties will be different. Next is atom combines in the ratio of small whole numbers to form compounds. That means atoms will combine in such a way that it will be whole number. For example, CO2, it cannot be C half or O4, it is not like that. It will be always whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Am I clear? Now number 6, the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. This is law of constant proportion. Now let us learn something extra about these atoms, which is very important. Okay, atoms are very small. They are so small that we cannot see them with naked eyes. Okay, and atomic radius is measured in nanometers. 1 nanometer is 10 to the power minus 9 meter. So the radius of an atom is measured in nanometer. They are so small. 10 to the power minus 9 means 1 by this much. So it will be 0.801 meter. So it is very small. Am I clear? Now symbols of atoms of elements. How to remember the symbols of atoms of elements, that we will learn today. Already you have come across about various symbols of atoms of elements. Now let us learn some other symbols also. Okay, Dalton was the first scientist to use the symbols of elements in very specific sense. Figure number 3.3 in page number 33, please once you check what were the symbols of elements that were used by Dalton, but those symbols we will not use nowadays, but you can remember because it may come in exam. Modern day symbols now we will learn, and that is very important, and you have to remember those symbols. Okay, now in the beginning the names of elements were derived from the names of the place where they were found. Suppose one element is found in one place, so like that names were given, like copper was taken from Cyprus. Okay, some names were taken from specific colors. For example, gold is yellow in color, so gold was taken from the English word meaning gold. Okay, but nowadays we use IUPAC, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, IUPAC names. Okay, elements have 1 or 2 letter symbols. If it is having 1 letter, it should be capital, and if it is having 2 letters, the first one should be capital and the second one should be small. Am I clear? For example, if you take hydrogen, it should, because it is having 1 letter, so it is capital H. It should not be small h. Aluminium is having 2 letter symbols, so it will be, first one will be capital, second one will be small. Similarly, cobalt is having 2 letter symbols, so first one will be capital, second one will be small. Now symbols of some elements are formed from the first letter of the name and a letter appearing later in the name. Okay, for example, chlorine Cl, zinc Zn. Now other symbols have been taken from the names of the elements in Latin, German and Greek words. Okay, for example, the symbol of iron is Fe, is taken from its Latin name ferrum. Sodium is Na, okay, from natrium, and potassium is K from kalium. In table 3.1 page number 34, some symbols are given, very important, you have to remember. Now symbol of first 20 elements is very important, you have to remember, it is required. From today onwards you have to learn this, and you have to remember. In class 10 also required, and in higher classes also it will be required. In chapter 4 it is given, please all of you remember and try to read out from beginning, that is hydrogen to calcium. Okay, we will continue in the